nerds, pretty 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 nerds.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Pretty Nerds podcast. This is your girl Falan DeAnn.
And this is your girl Nay.
So what's been happening? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Super tired lately. I don't know what's wrong with me. Just been tired. All I've been doing is like after work, taking me a nap.
I miss naps.
What about yourself?
Same, just work, baby. Yeah, just looking forward to vacation. That's about it.
I sure could use a vacation. We're supposed to be trying to go to Vegas again in July. But I was looking at them damn prices and I was like,
July 4th weekend or just
in July in general. But I just was like, so just because y'all didn't make no money during this pandemic, y'all just gonna skyrocket these prices, huh?
You know, I went and looked, and I did it because I wanted to go to Vegas for my birthday, and it wasn't bad. But I did do a package though, so I don't know if that helped.
But isn't your birthday is later in the year though?
Yeah.
So,
but July is fucking scorching hot.
Right?
I mean, unbearable. We went, me and Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
And we both, I had on sandals. She had on like tennis shoes. My feet were burning at the bottom. Ooh. So I was like, hey, let's just walk through this casino right quick. Cause I'm like, my feet burning. She was like, girl, my feet burning too. I'm like, why the hell you didn't say nothing? She was like, let's just go back to the hotel. She was like, I didn't want to say nothing because you weren't saying nothing. And you had on sandals. I was like, and I didn't want to say nothing because I felt like, okay, you kind of unprepared. I was like, it was, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just expected coming off the pandemic. It's really, I mean, we're not really going to be completely fresh out of the water by then. I just assumed like I could get a good deal, but shit, the prices was high.
Mm-hmm. Even New York was a good deal because I think for August, New York was like, and this was Times Square, it was like $500-$600 per person.
Yeah, that's pretty decent.
And that's with flight too. So.
Yeah. I don't know, girl. Maybe it's just certain destinations then. Shit. Yeah. All I know is them prices were high to me, and I just was like, nah, I'm good on that.
They gotta recoup their cash.
I said, I think I'm gonna look in June, since June is more like there's no special holidays in there.
Yeah.
And we really, according to Biden, everybody won't be fresh and clear, or we won't be at a really good space until after the July 4th weekend anyway. So maybe if it's before then, I could catch a nice little deal. I just wouldn't mind going to Vegas again. I love sitting by the pool. I love because I'm a gambler by heart.
I was just gonna say you should have said that first.
Girl, listen, I could sit in the casino. I'm like one of them old folks. I could sit in the casino all goddamn day.
You be like, take your time. I'm just gonna go gamble right quick.
Oh, and it's the worst because I'm the only one of my friends who like to gamble. All y'all ask to just be, I'm just gonna take a nap. What? Bye.
Listen, if I was good at it, I probably would gamble more. But I feel like I'm so bad at gambling, and then when I lose a certain amount of money, I'm like, yeah, it's time for me to go.
Oh, girl, listen. You got to lose some to make some.
See? The gambler's anthem.
It really is. That's that. Should I be on my little sports betting app and they be sending me a little message talking about Gamblers Anonymous? Don't try to check me. Shit. Anyway. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into these hot topics for the week. Starting off, really, really serious moment, obviously. Fresh off of the shooting that happened in Atlanta last week, where 7 Asian Americans were killed, and I think two or three were injured. We get another shooting in Colorado where we have 10 people that were killed inside of a grocery store. Just all around tragic. Obviously, it's leading to a lot of more calls again about the gun laws and the possible bans of AR-15s, assault rifles. So I don't know. I mean, at this point, I don't really know what we can do. I don't know.
I think until we address the real problem, like, I really don't think that there's a need for AR-15s. Like, I really have said that before, be like, bro, and it's no reason for you to have 57,000 guns. Like, if you're protecting your home, what do you need that many guns? You can't shoot them, but maybe 2 at the most.
Right.
So why do you need all that? And then, you have people, the government. So you think the government is going to come to your block and shoot out with you, sweetheart? Oh, this is not 1776.
They just going to drop a bomb on it.
Right, boom, and move on. Before you even get to your basement to get your artillery and all this together, you already done. I'm like, you think they finna come run up with a musket and no. So that really just always baffled me about like Americans and guns. It's like, you ain't got no 2 hands.
Right.
Depending on the weapon that you have, you need both hands to shoot it. So I don't understand why you need all the weapons. And then the high power weapons, I'm like, y'all ain't in the military.
Right.
And they don't even have.
Exactly.
So I don't know. It's just, but I was like, until we address these angry white men, I just feel like we're going to forever be in this whole cycle of thoughts and prayers.
Right. And I will say, I'll take the heat for this one, but it always baffles my mind how hard Black folks go for the Second Amendment. Cause I'd be like, y'all realize they didn't write the fucking Constitution for us. Like, we was literally considered 3/4 when it was originally wrote. And it took them forever to even strike that out of law. So they didn't, when they wrote that Second Amendment, that shit wasn't applied for us. So why do y'all be going so hard for it? I ain't saying that people shouldn't have the right to own guns and all that shit like that, but we should be advocating for safety, especially with us being some of the, one of the hardest hit communities from gun violence.
Yeah.
We should at least be, we should be arguing for safer means of obtaining a gun, as in stricter background checks. You know what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't be so easy to obtain these type of weapons.
And that's why, and a lot of us are not even gun owners. Like, people that be in comments, and especially, I don't know. Like, I'm with you on it. Like, yeah, I don't even think it's really out about them. And even with the Second Amendment, when people talk about it, was like, well, you're trying to take our guns. I'm like, it's not even made for the times now. Like, I don't know. I just feel it's just weird.
It's weird. I'm telling you. All right, so let's move on to that. Let's try to jump into some happier things because we don't want to linger on the sad stuff. Obviously, prayers and condolences to all of the people that were lost and all of their families. But we're going to jump into some happier things. Some things that are going to make us all smile and laugh. So first up, your girl Trina, she was being interviewed and she said that she wanted to do a verzuz with Lil Kim. What are your thoughts?
A fool. Flat out fool. And I love Trina. I like her music. Not Lil Kim, though. I'm like, no. Be like, even if you were to set it up right, be like, okay, I'm gonna play this hit. No, ma'am. Like, no. I just don't understand. I'm like, and I'm trying to think like who she could. Let me see. I know it won't be no damn Lil Kim though. Be like, maybe you need to stick with My Neck My Back Lady because Lil Kim, no, you a fool. She talking about ain't nobody reached out. Duh.
Right.
Fuck.
I wouldn't mind seeing maybe Trina versus Eve.
Okay, yep, that's a good one. But see, I still feel like people eat her up too, though. But that's more.
I mean, listen, it'll be a battle because I still think Eve will eat her up. Because I have always felt like Eve has been underrated when it comes to female MCs. She don't get the credit that she deserves, especially to be a female MC and hang with Rough Riders. Like, she literally had to audition to be in Rough Riders, where she had to go up against every dude in the crew in order to even be considered a part of Rough Riders. And I mean, that included going against DMX. Like, come on, like, you got to give her just due. Give her flowers.
That's something like Trina. I don't know.
Listen, I respect the confidence though. Shit.
Y'all gotta start somewhere.
Listen, I can't knock her. I respect the confidence. Ain't nobody else trying to. I would like to see more female rappers be a part of it though.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny about that is, as much as they scream unity, we all connected, blah blah blah, they ain't gonna do it because in my opinion, it's all a front. It's all cattiness behind the scenes.
Yeah.
This is another music question. So yesterday, 3/23 was the 17th anniversary of Usher's Confessions album. So my question to you is, where do you think Confessions rates in Usher's catalog?
Oh my God. Geez. I want to say number 1. And this is coming from a diehard fan. Like, I wrote Ricky Lake to meet him, word up posters on the wall. Like, I'm gonna go with number 1 because like Confessions is one of those albums, like, I want the whole album. Like, I was still burning CDs then.
Mm-hmm.
I'm burning the whole album. I'm not like picking and choosing, like, okay, I can only get, 16 songs on this CD, so I gotta pick it. I burnt the whole album like a couple times.
Right.
So I would, this don't have to be number 1 for me. Like, that joint.
You definitely, I actually agree with you. I was going to say, I thought it was going to be a controversial pick, but I actually agree with you. I feel like Confessions was just the one. Like, top to bottom, every record, like, no skips. Like, I really fucked with Confessions. Don't get me wrong, I liked earlier Usher, Nice and Slow was my shit. Come Through. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Just all of, not Come Through. Damn, I'm on the his verse on the Summer Walker shit. Damn. But anyway, You Make Me Wanna. That was my shit. But Confessions was just, it was an era, man. Like, good times. That's all I could say, boy. That album was just so fucking good. Like, you sit back and you think, damn, they don't even really make albums like Usher did back then. Woo!
And then think about her, Bad Girl, like, what? With a good long hair, man. Listen.
That's that. I'm telling you, that whole record, top to bottom, was a banger. Ain't no skips on her. All right, so
did you? Oh my gosh, who was that? They said, God was like, Usher and Chris Brown should do the verses. Did you see that like interview?
I seen that, and I feel like why do people keep coming back to this? We have said this multiple times that we do not want to see Usher versus Chris Brown.
Like, well, I don't know. I just feel like
it's 2 different eras.
Right. It's 2 different, and you can't verse the master, like,
right? Listen, shit. I'm just going
the teacher. I'm gonna call Mike the master, and then Usher is the teacher, and then Chris Brown is the apprentice. Like, how you gonna verse it? Like,
exactly. Like, y'all just need to leave that one alone. I do not want to see it. I feel like let Usher go against some of his peers or something like that. I don't even know who the fuck he go against. And I remember we had this conversation before too, and we couldn't really figure out who was on that level to go against Usher. Like, we were talking, like, I think we decided on Genuine if he allowed Timbaland to pick the record order for him.
And stayed off from group.
Boy.
Sober.
Oh, he definitely has to be sober. But aside from that, y'all just leave Usher Raymond out these conversations, okay? I like Chris, don't get me wrong, but he is not Usher Raymond, so don't do it. So also in music, Saweetie, she was on the cover of Cosmo. She revealed a couple of things. She talked about her infamous freestyle at Hot 97 and how that left her with PTSD because she just felt, I guess, so bad about it or embarrassed or something. I don't know. It just made her feel bad and almost want to give up on her career. She also talked about something that I think we've lightly brushed on here on the show. She talked about pretty privilege, and she said she admits that she feels like the fact that she's attractive, that she has a cute face, has definitely opened doors for her and kind of kept her in the forefront in the mainstream. But she says she doesn't feel like it's done that it's outshone her work ethic. She feels like she's worked just as hard, if not harder, than other female MCs. What are your thoughts on that and just on pretty privilege in general?
I definitely think it exists with her. I definitely think this is just not like just to her, but a lot of females, a lot of women, bad word, a lot of women in the industry thrive off of that. I'm like, we see it a lot where you're like, I mean, she's slick trash, but it's like, okay, well, she's cute or she's light skinned, so we can make it work,
right?
Because we seen it with Cardi. I'm like, they made it work. But I do think it's a such thing as that. I'm not gonna lie and be like, yeah, I'm pretty. So I'm like, people do scan my groceries at the grocery store before I pump my gas and all of that. Whereas, somebody else may not. But definitely, like I said, when it comes down to the industry, especially music, they almost kind of, especially now, they almost look alike. Like, even when it comes down to bodies and all this, I'm like, they look alike. I'm like, Saweetie, you got mulatto, same light skin, look like they got the body done.
Right.
Yeah,
they all kind of fit into the same mold. Even sometimes, like, they do photo shoots and you have to do a double take, like, wait a minute, because don't she look just like Cardi, and don't Cardi look just like Meg there, and don't, you know what I mean? Like, you have to do double takes, sort of, kind of, because it seems like so many of their faces and stuff like that and bodies, like you said, are just starting to look alike in the same. I mean, there's definitely, even removing it from the industry, like you said, in real life, there's definitely pretty privilege. Like, we see it all the time. Women definitely utilize their looks in order to, climb the ladder, shall we say. All right, so we can swiftly move on to that. So this is we're going to get to, these next couple of topics are in regards to relationships. So we're going to do those topics, and then we're going to slide right into the relationship portion of our show. So the first ones are just some quick hitters. Obviously, Quavo and Saweetie, we saw that little situation play out. Saweetie hit Quavo with that good old "Take Care, baby. It's over. I'm done. Single out here. Hot girl summer." Or icy summer, I'm sorry. So she let it be known that her and Quavo are no longer together. Then you got Gary Owens and his wife, Kenya. She filed for divorce after 18 years of marriage. And of course, because it's Claudia Jordan, and she always up in somebody's mess, she decided to be all up in the comments, and then got called out, and then she wanted to do a live, which so fucking extra, go on live talking about she was not the cause of any part of their divorce, and that she feels like that the wife hopes the wife publicly apologizes to her as loud as she publicly called her out.
You're like, girl, I chew on her brick before I apologize. Okay. And she ain't say you, she said your friend, boo-boo. And then it'll come down in a couple of months. It was your friend. So chat is quiet.
Big fix. So what's your thoughts on all of these quarantine breakups going on?
It's unfortunate, especially when you think about a marriage that long. And then they have children as well. It's definitely unfortunate, but I mean, I think and I'm not even gonna say quarantine, I just think we're coming into a space now where people snitching on you. Like, if you're gonna cheat, you just need to stand in your truth. And maybe just reevaluate your relationship before you even go there and be like, listen, this is not even what I want anymore.
Yeah. And I feel like with Gary and Kenya's situation, I've seen a lot of people insinuating that he's been cheating is kind of known around the comedy circle that he's a big cheater, that he cheats a lot on the road. And my thing is if she stuck by it all these years, I'm thinking that more than likely either this was the last, you know what I'm saying, like the final draw for her, or in my opinion, I think because their kids are pretty much on the grown side, I think they're getting ready to go off to college or in their final years of high school or whatever, that she was just like, okay, I held it out for the kids. They grown now. It's time for me to go do me. Fuck your ass. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I would have divorced him for the fact he had you saying nigga to a black man.
Big facts, big facts, big facts. But you know, nonetheless, I wish them well in that because, like you said, they do have children. That's a long marriage to go through 18 years. You know, you gotta applaud that anyway, because there's a lot of folks that ain't even making it past one. So you gotta applaud at least 18 years. It ain't nothing to sneeze at. And I just hope that they're able to do the rest amicably and quietly without folks like Claudia Jordan feeling like they gotta insert their nose in there and then pop a fucking attitude about it when you get called the fuck out. Audacity.
Always in some.
All the fucking ways, girl. All right, so then that brings us to the biggest cheating story, and the only reason I feel like this is the biggest cheating story is just because of how this man is. You and I have said this before about Mr. Derrick Jaxn, that we felt like he was a panderer, low-key fuck boy, and it was officially revealed. He got called out that he was smashing on an IG model, cheating on his wife. And then he decides to drag his wife onto a little Instagram thing. After dragging other men for this bullshit, he drags his wife and sits her on Instagram in front of the public for people to ridicule her, by the way, which is irritating the fuck out of my soul. Just because this was comfy or she had on a little hat or bonnet or whatever, don't mean you should fucking drag her looks. Like, I don't like that shit. But nonetheless, he dragged her in front of the public to basically be humiliated and ridiculed even more than just by his cheating. And just, it was a hot mess. But what are your thoughts on the whole situation?
I definitely hated it. All of it. My biggest takeaway from all of this, because I'm like, his type, we know, we see every fucking day. I'm real life tripped out about how women held him to such a high esteem where they was like, oh, if he cheated, then it's no hope. Be like, what? That's what you call no hope left from Derrick Jaxn cheating? I'm like, this is the person that we didn't even know that was in a relationship or married. And you can have a private relationship without keeping your partner private. I'm like, there's an issue when people don't know that you're in a relationship at all. Right. Like, you ain't ever gonna post a picture or all of this, but damn. When you think about it, like, because when he came with the whole, oh, I have a baby on the way, you like, the fuck? Like, I didn't even know you was in a relationship like that, and how you be talking like you would be with the woman that you had a baby with. So I'm like, but like my biggest issue is how he presented her. And not saying that you have to go out and be in full glam, because we know that does not stop a man from cheating. We see that with Cardi, Beyonce, Gabrielle Union, Halle Berry, all a plethora of beautiful women have been cheated on. But people made it her fault. Like, oh, you look like this. This is the reason why he cheated. And I just want to put it don't matter how you look. If he has it in his mind, his heart, and his soul to cheat, boo boo, he gonna cheat. Plain and fucking simple. She did not have a bonnet on. I do think sis has checked out of their relationship.
Yeah.
Because she don't care about, like, listen, I don't give a fuck at this point. If you want me to get on here and say this stupid ass bullshit and you want to squeeze my fucking hand, let's go ahead, do it, get the fuck over with so I can go on about my day. But it's just, I don't know, because I can't imagine my husband being like, okay, let's get on camera and you sit and and you sit and look like this. Like, he'll flat out tell me, be like, forehead, that wig ain't it. Like, okay, well, let me go in here and, find me another wig to put on. So I'm like, for him to put her on tape like that, and again, she does not have to be in full glam, but to put her on tape like that and be like, I don't know, I just feel like if I'm gonna present my wife, especially in a predicament like this, babe, let me make sure you look your best. If I'm putting my best foot forward and saying, okay, listen, I'm done with the cheating. This is just gonna be me and you. Let me make sure that, and this is my ego, make sure other bitches ain't out here trying to check you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. It didn't feel like he was protecting her,
right,
in that space.
Right. That's a good way to put it. Like, that's the best way to put it. Like, he definitely was not protecting her, and he knew that her appearance was going to take away from the bullshit that he pulled.
Yeah.
Like, people are so focused and so caught up on it that you literally have people making excuses like, oh, I can see why he cheated because look, this is how she looked. And then they have went to this woman's page and picked out her worst pictures where it's not. And I'm like, the only thing she needs is a stylist. She's not ugly. Far from it. And I'm like, y'all act like, maybe because I'm not attracted to him, but I'm like, he average as fuck.
Talk about it. I'm
like, he got muscles and a V-neck. That's it. I'm like, but there's not anything about him that I'd be like, if I saw him on the street, be like, let me look at him again. He average. The clothes that he wear is average. What is she supposed to be dressing up for? I'm like, this man wear Nike V-necks.
Thank you. They're equally yoked, in my opinion.
Right. I'm like, she ain't dressed no better or no worse than what he dressed. I mean, or the energy that he give off. He give off average fuck boy. I just so happen to build a fan base with my car seat relationship guru bullshit. That's it.
Right.
So I don't know. Like, I just hope she heals and she moves on. And I think we'll see once she get away from his weak ass. I do think he's a narcissist. Anytime you refer to yourself in third person and make a video referring to yourself in third person, watching yourself.
Yeah.
And you still like, I don't know if you saw the follow-up video that he made, and he was like, and he, went on to explain himself about why he cheated on. Nigga, it's you in the video. What the fuck are you talking about? And I think he is a good stand-up dude because he took responsibility. So what the fuck? Make it make sense. So I really do think we'll see the real her once she get away from this. Like I said, I think she is beautiful. She has a nice body. I mean, she don't look no better, no worse than his side chicks. His side chicks just had on clothes and makeup.
And that be the thing that aggravates the fuck out of me is that y'all will drag females. Y'all will get on this internet and drag folks, talk about I want natural this, I want natural that. But then you get a natural, beautiful girl and drag the fuck out of her because she ain't wearing a pound of makeup, lashes, a weave, don't have her body done. Like, I don't get it. Make that shit make sense to me.
X. That is a good ass motherfucking point. Be like, y'all just be hollering about naturals. Now here we go with a whole natural system. Now y'all, well, she could do this, but no, that's a good point.
That's what you want, right? That's what you said. That's what you always preaching to us. You don't want no weave, she didn't have one. You don't want no caked on makeup, she didn't have that on. She was barefaced in it. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, she has a nice natural body, nice shapely woman. So make it make sense to me. I feel like as women, we can't win for fucking lose.
Listen, y'all always moving that little old bar to do some fuckboy shit.
Exactly. My only comments on him, like, I was surprised that it blew up so much amongst women. I knew men was gonna have a fucking field day because there are certain niggas that they just can't wait for them to fuck up so that they can have. And he was one. He was at the top of a lot of dudes' list. Like, they was rubbing their hands like Birdman when they saw he got it. You know what I'm saying? And when they saw that he got exposed for cheating, because they were like, "Oh yeah, we finna go in." But my issue, like I said, was in the video how he did not protect her in that space because he knew those folks was gonna come for her. He knew it. And that's what aggravated me, is that how can you say that you wanna, that it was a mistake, you wanna be back with her, blah 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 blah, yet you didn't protect her in that space. You know how social media is. That's your job. You get on YouTube, that's how you make your money. So you know how social media is, and you knew they was gonna judge her. So why bring her on there anyway? Why make her have to sit with you to go through that shit?
Listen.
Sit there as the man that you are every other fucking day in your fucking car and approach that shit and talk about it. Don't make her have to come up there and sit with you.
Listen, that was my whole thing. I'm like, you've been doing all these videos long, all of a sudden now you need a companion. Fuck.
Right? You wanted to hide her from the fucking world for all these fucking years, and now when you get caught cheating, you want to bring her out? Like, don't do that. Don't bring me out when you down at your worst, nigga. No.
Like, listen, they let it look like she was in, like, listen, I'm in here trying to cook me a little breakfast. Fuck you won't.
Is it right? Listen, she knows. I feel like every video I see pop up her, I feel like sis is done. She's slowly crying for help in the background, like, help me. I want to escape this nigga.
Right.
I don't know. But I am with, like, I feel like there are a lot of words that are overused, and narcissist is one of them. But I am 100% with you. When I saw that this nigga did a reaction video to his own, I said, whoa. I said the narcissism jumped the fuck out, because wow.
Because I'm like, I thought reaction videos is for some shit that, like, it's your first or second time reviewing. Bro, you knew, and you didn't know the content. You knew the content, and it's yourself, and you refer to yourself as third person.
Woo.
And he did that on the original video as well, so it's not like, oh, he did it for the sake of the video. He did it on the whole. Oh my gosh.
A whole mess. Mess. Listen, I just hope at this point we protect sis peace and allow her to remove herself whenever she wants to, gracefully, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to lead us into the relationship portion of the show. So let's start with your question, since it kind of parlays on what we're talking about, and then we'll jump into mine, since mine is more of a lifestyle question.
Yeah. So this is just to piggyback from off of the whole Derrick Jaxn thing. His wife was his high school sweetheart. But when it all boiled down, I saw somebody on my friends list and they posed the question, do you think that you should step your game up once your spouse levels up? Because I guess she figured he hadn't leveled up.
Right. Okay. So this question is tough for me because I feel like I feel like appearance, and this is how we were talking about pretty privilege and all that. I feel like appearance is so subjective, and my level up compared to somebody else's level up, you know what I mean? It's going to be so different that I feel like it's a tough question, but I feel like when you're partners, you should in all ways try to be equally yoked and try to put when y'all coming out in public together, try to step your best foot forward together. Like, one shouldn't be lacking in, you know what I'm saying, when y'all out together, because y'all are presenting to the world as partners. And I just feel like if I'm your partner, we both gonna be looking fly together. Like, if you out here with the chains and the this, that, and the other, then I'm gonna have my Chanel bag and the, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I just feel like we have to be in it, and that's an oversimplification of it, and very kind of I want to say very kind of materialistic way to put it, but that's the easiest example I can give. I just feel like, in essence, y'all should be, as partners, because you're presenting to the world together, y'all should be equally yoked. So y'all should be equally matched. So I don't necessarily think it's your job to level up. I just feel like if you're in this relationship and y'all are partners, how could you not be or come up and be at the same level as your partner? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I guess my take on it is, like, I definitely think you should. I mean, as your partner grow, but I feel like with a relationship, if you are, I don't know, like if I'm looking out for the best with my partner, I'm going to always, and I think vice versa, but it's a natural progression to get there. Like, I would take Sierra and Russell Wilson as an example. Like, before he met her, he had like a certain style where you just like, yikes. He can dress a little better. And then when he got with her, it was just something about not so much as him physical, like his face, but like his swag. It progressed. It got better. Like the way he wore his clothes, you can tell he's more confident in his clothes. He's more confident in what he wears, and it shows.
Right.
And I don't think it should be pressure necessarily to do that. I think it should be more of a natural thing because you have to be comfortable with it. And I think we all, like, with that question and where she was coming from is like, oh, well, it should be a push for you to look just as sexy as the women that admires him. And a lot of men may not want that. It's like, okay, what did he marry her for? He probably didn't marry her to look as sexy as his admirers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or to dress like them. Like, there's a difference. I'm like, he might not, in his case, you know, who knows? But unlike a lot of men, every man does not go and be like, okay, I'm gonna get married and then I'm gonna go and cheat with the woman that I really want. Some men really marry that woman that they want, and it might not be up to your standards, but for him, she's the end all be all.
Right.
And vice versa. Like, you know, like we see that, you know, with women as well, be like, fuck she married him for. But to her, listen, that's it.
Yeah, that's true. Because remember when everybody was like, how the fuck was Tamar with Vince? But she used to really be out here trying to fight motherfuckers over Vince ass. So I just listen, there's somebody for everybody.
Listen, I feel like that about Beyonce and Jay-Z. I'm like, so you were younger than him, beautiful, and you picked Jay-Z though. But then at the same, and I'm like, she took him back, and I'm like, why? But you know,
exactly, somebody for everybody. For her, that's her one. All right, so my question this week is more of a lifestyle question. So we all know that there's this pressure, whether we put it on ourselves, society, whatever, to have pretty much figured out life by 30. My question is, why do you think we decided that 30 was just the age that we had to have everything together or else we were a failure?
For me, it was just something that I heard. Like, oh, you have to be married and have children by 30. You should be settled in your career. And I don't know, like, who the fuck made that the damn rule? Because when you think about it, it's like, bro, I was just 25. Like, still figuring shit out. You might not necessarily, you know, like, you've graduated from college, you've worked in your career, but damn, you probably thinking at that point, like, shit, I don't really even like this. I don't know. But I did go by that bullshit. Like, I'm not even going to be one of the people like, oh, when I was 30, I felt like, you know, I didn't have to do, like, I really was like anxious when I turned 30 that I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not married. I didn't even have any like potential prospects. I didn't have any children. And I'm like, I don't even know if this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So, but I don't know where that pressure came from. Like I said, I really think, like, even with the movies, I saw a status that I had made a couple years ago on Facebook of the movie Brothers, and they were all looking for that one before they turned 30. And I'm like, damn, even now that has changed, but I don't know what, other than like seeing the movies and just like pressure from society, like, oh my gosh, you're turning 30. Yeah. That kind of fucked up though, because that kind of leaves us stuck in a lot of bullshit too. Like,
right,
nigga, you just 30, because you think about like, oh, 30 is over. Like, you just fucking 30.
Exactly. So I feel like for us, because we are in our 30s, that our perspective has definitely changed. Because I will say that before 30, like 100%, like I think that I can, just speaking for myself, like I felt it. Like, I felt that society pressure. Like, I felt like people were breathing down my neck. Every event I was attending, every time I was at a family get, oh, where's your boyfriend at? Where your husband at? When you get married? When you gonna have babies? When you gonna this? When you gonna that? And you just feel it, and it builds up and it builds up, and you feel so anxious. And then you turn 30, and then you get in your 30s, and you sit around, and like your whole perspective on life kind of flips and changes. And you, like you said, you sit down and you think back, and you're like, bitch, you just 30 years old. Like, that's not even old. Like, it's not even old. Your life is barely even started. To be honest, you just finished getting past a lot of the bullshit. So you have so much more of life to look forward to. And I have, even now, I've started to start feeling a little bit differently about life just in general. In that, I don't know if I'll ever, and this is just a me thing, I don't know if I'll ever even settle into a traditional life in that sense, because I don't know. Like, I don't know if we're meant to just work one career or do one thing for the rest of our lives. Like, I don't know if why can't I do multiple things and succeed at multiple things for the rest of my life? You know, as long as they all make me happy and serve my purpose or my spirit, like, why can't I do multiple things? Why do I have to just settle into one thing? Why do I have to get married, even though I do want to get married? But I mean, if I didn't want to, why would that be a bad thing? Even though I do want kids, but you know, if I didn't, why would that be a bad thing? Like, my whole perspective now that I have kind of reached that threshold, past 30, it's just changed, it's shift. Like, I think about life completely different now. Like, I don't see it as a failure anymore, because I just feel like as people, we never stop growing, changing, learning, adapting. So why do we have to be stuck in just one thing? I don't know. That's my thought.
I definitely agree. Definitely agree.
Okay. All right. So now we're going to quickly jump into our next segment, which is any new books, movies, TV, anything that you're currently watching, reviewing, listening to, that you just want to talk about and get off your chest.
Nothing. Well, I'm actually watching. I was like a huge fan of CSI New York, probably because of Hill Harper. But I never really took a big liking to the original CSI.
Mm-hmm.
But it's on Hulu, and I actually started from like season 1, just watching all the seasons while I like work or whatever. And I actually like it. So I'm like stuck now. And it's a lot of seasons. So if you're looking for something like Grey's Anatomy or something like that with a lot of seasons, this is definitely one of those.
Yeah. See, I like the original CSI. I probably like the original CSI better than all of the rest of them. I used to also watch CSI Miami, but that one got a little too cheesy for me. But I always liked the original CSI. It was definitely a pretty good show as well. Anything else?
Nothing else, I don't think. No.
So on my end, I don't have any like new shows or anything like that, new movies. I did music on the music front. I have been listening to, because I have these little playlists. If you guys know, I stream on Tidal. Huge fan of Tidal. I love that streaming service. It's one of my favorites. And so Tidal puts together these little playlists for you or whatever like that, just based on you can do it based on activities, this, that, and the other, whatever. So one of my little gym mixes, it popped up with the Saweetie and Doja Cat song, Best Friend. And I've just been really getting into that lately and really jamming to it lately. And I gotta say this, and I know y'all gonna check me for this, because as much as Doja Cat may be self-hating and all of those things and have her issues, you gotta give credit where credit is due when it comes to these girls out here rapping. She's probably one of the better, if not the top tier, out of all of the like this new crop of girls that are rapping. Cause like the way she flow on a beat is, listen, I don't know about the rest of these girls. Like the way she flow on these beats. Like, she be eating these girls up on their own songs. But outside of that, that's really all I've been doing. Because, like I said, I haven't really been doing much but working in gym. So all I've really had time to do is kind of listen to these different musics while I am working out. So that's that on that. Oh, I will also say, because we do support other women here on the podcast, I did check out a couple of episodes of, I think I maybe checked out the first episode of the one, that podcast with Ming and Karen Silva.
Okay.
I think I checked that one out. And then there's another one with, damn it, what is her name? She was an R&B singer. I can't remember her name right now. I think it's Brooke.
Brooke Valentine.
And then there's another chick. Her name is Liv. But anyway, they all were part of like that whole Joe Budden podcast rollout. So he rolled out 2 women-led podcasts. So I checked them out, and I would say, just because, like I said, we support other women here on the show, I would say go give them a try, give them a check out, and give them some listens, give them some spins. Support women, especially women creators. So that's my little spiel. Anywho, so let's go ahead and move into your nerdy rant of the week, Falan DeAnn.
You know what? I'm going to change it. My rant for the week, and this goes out to, I don't know if people in the North do it as much. I've only driven there like 2 or 3 times, but I know people in the South do it, and they do it a lot. Get your ass out that left lane. Like, that's my rant for the week. It irks my spirit when people are in the fast lane doing 30 or 40. Move. Like, you have to be a serial killer or like a socio, drive in the left lane and see 10 cars behind you and you still just chilling. Like, you got to move. So that is my rant.
Okay.
I was going to talk about something else, but I feel like it's beating a dead horse at this point.
Okay.
But that's my rant for the week.
All right, well, short and sweet this week. So I'm going to go ahead now and jump into the nerd moment of the week. And this week, quick hitters, Black Widow finally has a release date. It's coming out July 9th. And I could be wrong. Maybe it's June. No, it's July. Why do I keep getting these J's mixed up? It's July 9th. And it's going to be released in theaters as well as on Disney Plus. And I think on Disney Plus, they said it's going to be like $30. So you probably may be better off going to the movie theater if you feel comfortable doing that. Because at least maybe you'll get like a ticket discount. Because $30 is pretty steep. But anyway, nonetheless, Black Widow finally got a release date. So we'll finally get to see that phase. The first movie phase of the MCU's phase 4 is going to be Black Widow. So we'll finally get to see that. I also, per usual, yesterday was the episode 4 of The Flash, Central City Strong. Basically, it was taking on them dealing with the trauma after being, dealing with the whole Mirrorverse situation. Last week, you guys heard me complain about how I felt like the episode 3, which was supposed to be the season finale, was kind of lackluster, especially since we were just all over the Mirrorverse. I will say I'm glad now that they did have to bring it into this, because if episode 4 was supposed to be like their intro to season 7, so it would have been their season premiere, the Flash is really like, they're not doing it for me. They're not giving me what needs to be given. Like, the CGI has been horrible. Like, I will say that with a lot of shows, like, we know that COVID is happening or whatnot, but I'm confused in their approach with their show. Like, they're obvious with their COVID restrictions, as opposed to, like, I've seen, like, with Grey's Anatomy and all these different shows that are filming during COVID, where they've had obvious, like, closeness with 2 characters, because my assumption is that they get rapidly tested. So they've had, like, kissing amongst 2 characters or closeness, touching, especially if they're in a relationship, because how do you convey a relationship if you can't touch? Yeah. And I feel like with the Flash, they're taking the COVID thing to the extreme, and it makes it completely feel obvious and disjointed, especially since he hasn't been able to actually fight anyone, so they've been having to CGI villains in it. It just it's not given what needs to be given. So, but I did like the fact that for once they actually allowed the characters to address their trauma and like real people. So it wasn't just like robots, like, oh, we had some bad shit happen to us and now we're over it in the next episode. They're actually allowing them to sit in the trauma of it and deal with the trauma. So I enjoyed that. They're giving some growth to the characters, and I appreciate that on the forefront. I also will say that it angers me. It's becoming more obvious that they do not have any Black women writers that are in that writers room. Because seeing Chester on this show in all his Black nerd glory, okay, he had his little fresh lineup with the cuts in the side of his hair, the Tupac shirt referencing Tupac, listening to the rap music in Star Labs. He just was living life in all his Black nerd glory. And I'm just like, here you have a Black woman lead, and she can't even get different hairstyles other than straight hair every fucking week. Like, please get some Black women writers in the writers room. I appreciate that y'all finally have a Black man in the writers room, but clearly y'all need some women in there too, because y'all just do not know what to do with the Black characters on this show, and it aggravates the fuck out of me. So let's get to it. And then finally, my last and final piece, I did spend 4 hours of my life watching the DC Snyder Cut of Justice League. So it was way, 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 way better than the theatrical release of Justice League. Like, it was out of the ballpark better. Because we all know Justice League sucked. It was trash. But the Snyder Cut was way better. It definitely shined a light on Cyborg. Ray Fisher did an incredible job as Cyborg. He definitely was the standout spotlight. We finally got to get to the juice of Barry Allen. We got to see some of his character and really kind of, because all we've seen of Barry is the CW version, and Grant has done a great job, in my opinion, as Barry Allen. So it's hard to see Ezra Miller step into the role even for the movie. And we know Ezra has a lot of experience, but I just haven't been sold on Ezra as the Flash. I will say with the Snyder Cut, it makes me a tad bit hopeful just because I like him and Kersey's chemistry. So I like them as Barry and Iris. But I'm still, even with the extendedness of the Snyder Cut, I still am not 100% sure I'm sold on Ezra as the Flash. But the Flash is making headway because it is going to kind of be used as the way to reset the DC universe. So they're going ahead with the movie. They've already got a slew of actors lined up to be in the movie, and they're supposed to be filming sometime later on this year. So we'll see with that. But as far as the Snyder Cut is concerned, it's definitely, like I said, it's definitely a step above Justice League. I will say, because of what we're used to with Marvel, it's not like, I wouldn't put it in like my favorites of movies, but as far as the DC universe, it's up there. It's up there towards the top. But stacking up towards Marvel movies as well, it don't give what it needs to give. And plus, it's too fucking long. That was 4 hours of my life, y'all.
You'll be trying to watch it now. Watch another 20 minutes.
I should have took it in chunks, but no, I watched it straight through.
Oh my! Listen.
That's what I mean. It was 4 hours of my life.
I would have been like, starting like, so what happened? Well, 2 parts. I didn't see 2 hours of it. I gotta go back and watch it. My attention span is so freaking short.
Oh, girl. But I just felt like if I didn't watch it straight through, then I knew I wasn't going to come back and finish it. So that's why I went ahead. I just like, let me just knock this out of the ballpark. But nonetheless, like I said, it's still, I'm just going to be honest, it's still, Justice League to me, it still isn't a great movie. I don't care what nobody say. But it's far better far superior. The Snyder Cut is far superior to the theatrical release of Justice League. Outside of that, and I just want to say, lastly, I know I told you guys last week I was going to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier because it premiered last week. But again, like I said, I spent 4 hours watching Justice League. I needed a break. So I will pick it up this week and watch both episodes, and I will review it for you guys next week. And that is all for me in the nerd moment of the week. Anything else on your end, Falan DeAnn?
Nothing else for me.
All right. So then, per usual, we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening to us. Again, those numbers have been looking amazing. We appreciate you guys' support and love so much. Keep listening, keep downloading, keep sharing. Just keep showing us support. Until next time. Good night, guys.
Good night.